గురుకుల ఉద్యోగ గైడ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కి స్వాగతం. మనం ఈ రోజు ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో ఫిజికల్ సైన్స్ లో పెడగాజీ ఓవర్ వ్యూ గురించి మనం తెలుసుకుందాం. మనతో సీనియర్ ఫ్యాకల్టీ సురేష్ కుమార్ సార్ మనతో ఉన్నారు. అసలు సబ్జెక్ట్ అకాడమిక్ స్టాండర్డ్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది, అలాగే ఎలా ప్లాన్ చేసుకోవాలన్న పూర్తి సమాచారాన్ని మీకు సార్ అందిస్తారు. సార్ నమస్తే సార్.
నమస్కారం
సార్, ఫిజికల్ సైన్స్ పెడగాజీలో ఓవర్ వ్యూ మనం ఒకసారి చూస్తే సార్, అసలు అకాడమిక్ స్టాండర్డ్ ఏంటి సార్ అసలు ఇది?
Okay, so as per APSF 2011, so we decided to write the textbooks, the new textbooks. So in 2011 we started writing these textbooks. We completed around 2015. So we released a 10th class textbook on 2015. From 2015 onwards, the new academic books are introduced. So the textbooks are written and based on 4 areas. One is call it as what you said, academic standard, and the second one is position paper, and third one is the knowledge commission report, and fourth one is the right to education act. So here academic standards is not a new one. Actually we collected this academic standard from the national teachers curriculum, so NCTM we call it as. So from that we collected this academic standard. For each subject there are different academic standards. For example, if it's a mathematics, problem solving, reasoning and proof, communication, like there are 5 academic standards. For physical science and biological science there are 7 academic standards. For social studies also same, but a little bit of change. The first one is conceptual understanding. So how the children is going to understand the concept, how he compares, contrasts different concepts, all this comes under the conceptual understanding. The major part is a conceptual understanding. The second one is questioning and hypothesis. So science develops only on questioning. You should not accept what the teacher said it's a correct one. So he has to think whether how it is possible, when it is possible, so in what way it supports the concept, like they have to discuss it. All this process comes through questioning. So that's the one. Another one is hypothesis. Hypothesis means so for example, why the sky is blue, if the question arises. So generally they will say the scattering of light. Okay, you should not stop there only, and they will take so many examples. Why the sea water is in blue? Again the scattering process. So what is scattering? How the light scatters? When the light scatters, what will happen? Like they have to come to a conclusion. That is called hypothesis. Now third one is, you know, that's experimentation. So experimentation is main bone for the any science. So all the results comes through experimentation. So in the textbook we gave some different kinds of experiments. One is called activities. They can perform in the classroom only. Another one is lab activities. They have to perform in the laboratory only. And the third one is projects. So all this comes under the experimentation. That's very important. And some other areas, field observations also very important. So experimentation, field observation comes under the third academic standard. Now come to the fourth one is information skills. The teacher or the student has to collect the information. That's a very important. For example, if you want to say optics, so what is an optic and what optics deals? So what are the lenses, how the image forms, what kind of images are there, so what is a real image, what is a virtual image, what are the various kinds of lenses, like so they have to collect the information. So for example, we are using concave lens in particular area, convex lens in another particular area. Where we are using convex lens and concave lens, what is the difference between lens and a mirror? All this comes as an information. So that information skills is very important, and the student or the teacher has to express the same thing in scientific terms. So everyone can say easily, say, but if they are able to express in terms of scientific terms, then that is called information skills. Okay. So next one is diagrammatic skills. So for example, so sometimes they have to represent the information in diagrammatic. So that's very important. So if you want to say the relation between velocity and time, they have to show it in a graphs. Or if you want to show that how the dynamo works, they have to draw the diagram. How the nuclear reactor works, they have to draw the diagram. So diagrammatic skills is very important. So diagrammatic skills here, the another important part is nothing, labeling. The children can draw the diagram easily, but the proper labeling is very important. So without labeling, it is like a lifeless body. So diagrammatic skills is also very important. The next one is appreciation, values, and aesthetic sense, and consciousness towards the biodiversity. Actually, this is the best academic standard among all this. So first, he has to appreciate the learning of physical science. Then only he can learn. So if we enjoy the learning of physics, then so that's appreciation is very important. So each, for example, we are in the floodlights here. The light, Thomas Alva Edison invented light. How he invented? What are the things inside a bulb? Why nichrome is used? Or tungsten filament is used. Like so, you will. So if we are able to appreciate, now we are in position to tell, of course, using iPhones, smartphones, whatever it may be, the satellites, everything comes under the invention or discovery from the science.
Yes.
So, so we have to appreciate, that's a very important, and science should learn the values, not only general values, so ethical values, social values, these are very, very important. Science is nothing but a double-edged knife. So you can use the science for social welfare, and another one you can destroy the total economy and our social system also. For example, Atahan invented the atom bomb. The main purpose of invention of atom bomb is in the most of the Thar or Sahara, all these deserts. So there is no water on the surface. So, but when the research is going on, they identify that. So when you go in depth, so nearly 1 kilometer in depth from the ground level, there are water resources.
Yes.
So you want to bring the water resources. That means there should be a big explosive should takes place. So atom bomb do that thing. So atom bomb is invented for the purpose of to bring the water resources from ground, of course, down level to ground level. But everyone knows it. Americans want to, of course, use it as for okay, to control the total war and to maintain the power. So they dropped the atom bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Everyone knows the Second World War. So the purpose here, the purpose is one, another purpose is, of course. So it's a double-edged knife. You can use it for the development of welfare of the society, or we can make a disturbance in the society. So that's a very important. If you take, for example, cyanide. So generally cyanide used for medicine,
yes,
medicine purpose. But when you open it, that cyanide becomes the isocyanide, which is a poison. So like science has some its values. So the teacher has to express and has to transact in the classroom what are the values, what kind of values they are going to develop. These are another kind. And the last one, academic standard, you know that the application in daily life situations. So without science, there is no life. In every part and movement of our life, science was there.
Science.
We sit here means here there is a frictional force between our seat and our body. Otherwise, we will fall down. Okay, we are talking means here our so you have a vibrate here. The vocal cord is there. The vocal cord is vibrating stage. A vibrating body releases the sound. So like each and every one, what you are going to say, each and every one is concerned with the science. So teacher has to develop these things. So they should, everyone feels that science is not a different, it's a part and parcel of our daily life situation. Then only the children enjoy the learning of physical science. So these are the 7 academic standards, and we will test the children whether all the children possess these academic standards, how best they are using and implemented in the learning process of this. These are the academic standards. That's the importance of the academic standards.
Right, sir. FA tools ante enti sir vaadi gurinchi kuda.
Actually, this is a continuous comprehensive evaluation system. Presently, we are using CCE system.
Okay.
In the CCE system, we are using 2 kinds of assessments. One is called formative assessment, and another one is summative assessment. It's a formal. So we want to test, or we want to assess the children in an integrated way. So previously the system is only on paper pencil test. So some chapters were announced. So we are going to conduct a unit test on particular chapter. The children by heart the concepts, reproduce the same in the examination mechanically. So it's a test for rote memory. But in the formative assessment, we want to test in all aspects. So first one is in physics, we are using a laboratory activity or maintaining a laboratory record. So in the laboratory means here, the first one is you will develop the analytical power. What are the requirements, how we are going to use, what are the precautions we are going to take, analytical coordination power, intrinsic heart. So we want to know something. From this, he has to predict something. So from through experiment, the result will comes like. So that's a laboratory activity. Means coordination, cognitive domain, all this analytical power, reasoning power, aesthetic sense, all comes through this laboratory activity. That's the first one. So it's for 5 marks. And the second one is writing skills, written test, written works we simply call it as. Written works means here in the textbook we gave some activities, we gave some lab activities. The children has to write this. We give some exercises there. So they have to write the total answers for that. So for them, we are giving marks to the written works, because whether the children is aware with all these keywords, which are the scientific words, how they are using these keywords in a proper way. Say for example, say simply soda water is a general one. So nothing but all cool drinks is nothing but soda water we call it. It's a carbonic acid. By adding different flavors, we will call Pepsi, Coca-Cola, whatever it may be the name, but actual ingredient is nothing but a carbonic acid. When you pour carbon dioxide into water, it becomes as a carbonic acid, not a new one. So like we will give the information. So the children are able to express the things in terms of scientific terms. So that's called written works. So we are giving 5 marks for it. It's another tool. Third one is projects. The project means here we want to develop the scientific attitude towards the learning process. So you should not believe the myths which spreads in the society. So he has to know those things. Through projects, he has to identify, he has to innovate, or he has to discover, or he has to predict the outcomes. So that will give the coordination among the peer group. Maybe the project may be individual project or group project, whatever it may be. So if it is an individual project, you know how to present the concept in a classroom. That's one kind of attitude. Another one is when you give as a group work, so coordination between the peer groups. So they are sharing. It's very important, so because he is a social human being, so he has to share his views and ideas. So that's a very important. That things are incorporated in this project. Now come to it's for 5 marks. And the last one is where it's a pen and paper test or pen and pencil test, whatever it may be. The word, sometimes we will call it a slip test also. So we will prepare the children for summative assessment. So we will test 1 or 2 academic standards out of 7 academic standards. We will give the different kinds of questions, but it should be informal. So there is no prior intimation to the children. In the classroom transaction only, the teacher has to give 1 or 2 questions. The children has to write the answers. So it's a examination fearless environment. We want to provide a fearless environment to the children. So tomorrow I have an examination. Psychologically, he will get a depression. So we don't want to give the burden to the children. So only in the classroom only a continuous evaluation process. It should be in a formal. There is no specific period for that. Like the test will be conducted. So these are the tools. We are going to conduct formative assessment for an academic year 4 times. In the month of June and July, first formative. August and September, second formative. October is the summative 1. November and December, formative 3. January, February, formative 4. And March, summative 2. That's a process.
Right, sir. Project mark
Yeah. So actually the project will be classified as 5 marks. The first one is a preparation, execution, and implementation of the things or tools will be 1 mark. So he has to collect some information. He has to prepare. So for example, you want to perform the project of you want to know the different kinds of solutions, whether it is an acid or base. So he has to collect. So he has to collect some different kinds of solutions through indicators or the litmus papers. He has to collect a litmus paper. Through the litmus paper only, he has to identify whether it is an acid or base. By using pH scale, whether it is a strong acid or weak acid or strong base or weak base. So what are the requirements to know analysis, all these things. That's called the preparation for 1 mark. And the next one is a very important collection data and analysis of the data. So he has to analyze it. So if the below 7, pH value is below 7, he said it's an acid, more than 7 it's a base. When it is 7, it's a salt. Like he has to analyze, he has to interpret it, and he has to make it into tabular form. So it comes under the 1 mark. Okay. And the third one is he has to write a report writing. He has to write where he collected. So where he collected, how he collected. So and what they collected. They have to express each and every one in terms of scientific terms. That simply we call it as a report writing. For report writing, 1 mark. And the fourth one is he has to give the paper presentation. So for paper presentation, 1 mark. Fifth one is oral presentation. For simply preparation, execution will be 1 mark. Collection and analysis, 1 mark. Okay, and report writing, 1 mark. Paper presentation, 1 mark. oral presentation 1 point. These are the 5 marks generally we will allotted for the projects.
Right, sir. Different teaching and learning methods.
Yeah. So actually, this is a very good question to in the examination also. And as a teacher, they has to know various kinds of the method, because the concept complexity will not be unique among all the chapters. Some chapters complexity is more if you want to say those things, it need more basics, more prerequisites, and some audiovisual support is required. So in the classroom, when you provide all these things, then only the children can understand. For example, when the light ray incident on a prism, it refracted towards the base. Okay. So like if we said, the children may not understand. So he is unable to view those things. So he has to take the support of audiovisual support. That's a very, very important. So generally what you are going to ask, and so the methods are very important. Sometimes they have to demonstrate, sometimes they have to analyze it, sometimes they have to synthesize, sometimes they have to use the problems. And so like we have nearly 14 or 15 methods are there. The first one is generally you call it as a lecture method. So lecture method is not suitable for up to secondary level. So after secondary level, for higher education, lecture method is very useful, because if you want to say some concept without any kind of abstraction, so if you want to deliver those concept, so that method is applicable. Generally we will use in graduation level and post graduation level this lecture method. For high school levels it is not suitable, only for it consumes the time. So if the time is very less, then generally you can opt to lecture method. Otherwise a lecture demonstration method is very important. So the teacher has to demonstrate the things in the classroom, and through the demonstration he has to explain. This is the very best method. Actually it is a good scientific method also. And the third one is a demonstration method. Sometimes communication is very less. He has to perform the activity in the classroom. He has to take the support of the children. So it's nothing but demonstration method is like a laboratory method. He has to explain those things. That's one kind of method. Generally we will use this method for secondary level. The next one is analytical method. Analytical method means he has to analyze the things. So what is given, what is the hypothesis, what are the objectives of these things, so what are the implications of impact on this generally daily life, what are the precautions you have to consider. So like they has to analyze that. So that's analytical method is very important. Sometimes synthesis. So synthesis means here we will collect some information and gather. For example, alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, aldehydes, ketones, esters, carbolic acids. So different kinds of those things here all will come together and we will call it as an organic chemistry. So like where sometimes you have to say some explain concept means here they have to, that will be available in parts, we have to gather together and make it as a one concept. That is called as a synthetic method. So pieces to whole is called synthetic, whole to pieces is called analytical. So the teacher has the discrimination power to which method we are going to use it. Next one is a problem solving method. For example, my bike was suddenly stopped. So that is a problem was given. What is the problem here? Maybe clutch bar is broken, or there is no petrol, or ignition lock is not properly working. So like he has to prepare so many questions. From according to the process they have to check it whether proper ignition is working or not. Okay, if it is working, whether petrol is there or not, he has to check. So like that is called a problem solving method. So there is some process. Through the process we have to find it. Finally we have to identify what is the problem, what is the rectification for it. That's the problem. Now we will give the another heuristic method. So you know that heuristic method is a very good method. Actually heuristic means here I find. So it's nothing but innovation. So one of the greatest, Armstrong is one of the mathematician and of course a scientist also. So he gave a task to him by his king. At the time there is no how to find the impurities in gold. Okay, so you want to make a crown for him. So he doesn't know how much copper is added for that. You want to know that. So that's at the time there is no simple balances also. How much gold is given just by weighing with another, just by using hands, then only they will say it. So at the time when he was bathing, so some kind, so when he jumped into the bathtub, some quantity of water will be fallen from him. So he measured that as the volume of his body and the volume of water both are same. So immediately he got the idea. He said, I find. He ran on the roads of that kingdom. So that is the history of the heuristic. Suddenly we will get sometimes an idea when you are doing things. So all these things, even for example for James Cook. So just he observing in his kitchen. So the water is boiling in a vessel. So there is a lid was there. So just observing after some time the lid is moving upwards. At the time he was 5 years old. So he doesn't know what is this, which one is pulling outside or pushing up. So he was wondered for that at that activity. He put a spoon on it, even spoon also moving that. He open the lid, water vapor comes. At the time he assumed, so water vapor has some power. After that, after attaining some knowledge, it is considered as a water vapor has the knowledge, and now we are using that as a steam engines. The cooker also working in the same manner. So that's an application of all these things. So this is called a project method, heuristic method, and project methods. Like we have so many methods, and the strategies, generally the strategies are means here sometimes we have to discuss the concept in the classroom. So that is a group activity, maybe or brainstorming. We will give a task to the children and they will discuss it. So that's called brainstorming. Or individual activity we can give it, or oral presentation. All this comes as a methods and strategies of physical science. So according to the need of the classroom, the teacher has to adapt.
Right, Sarika. Textbook philosophy.
Yeah. So actually the textbook has written in a new pattern. Every teacher and a student has to understand. This is very, very important. In the first and second pages we give a teacher note and student note also. So this is very important, and the preface is already given and editor comment also given. So when they are going to know the textbook, before that they have to read all this. That's a very, very important. Previously we gave the definition in the textbook. Now there is no definition. For example, if I show the fan, I ask it to anyone what is it. One of them say that's a fan, another one say it's an electrical equipment, third one will say it's a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy, someone will say it's which converts in wind energy. Like every answer is correct. So there is definition is meaningless, and we will make an iron frame. In the iron frame only we have to sit there, means it's difficult to exist. In the same manner, when you give the definition to the any concept, definitely the children mechanically by heart the concepts, then there is no use. So the children has to explain, reflect according to the what he understands. So in his own language, incorporating the scientific terminology. That's very important. And we give the explanation throughout the chapter. Explanation is given. There are so many questions. So the teacher has to, and the children has to identify the answers from their observations, field observations, or by referring the books, or seeing some internet channel. Of course, different kinds of educational resources. They have to find the answers. They have to come to a conclusion. That's the main philosophy of this textbook. And previously, there is a dumping of concepts. So in the previous 10th class textbook, we gave nearly 54 concepts. So we have units and dimensions. We have our universe, kinematics, dynamics, simple harmonic motion. Okay, sound, static electricity, current electricity, electromagnetism, heat, thermodynamics, modern physics, nuclear physics, all this in physics. And chemistry we have nearly 34. Like, so in the particular academic year, the teacher has to explain all these things. It's a very difficult task. So that's the reason what the teachers generally they did, simply they selected few of the concepts which are useful for the SSC examination. They explained those concepts only. They didn't explain the rest of the concepts. When you pose the questions to the teachers, what they said, sir, this is a dumping of concepts. It is very difficult to explain. It needs at least 1 to 2 years, and not only 1 year. It takes nearly 2 years if you want to give the conceptual clarity to that. So that was modified in the present textbook. We gave a limited concept, and that concept is divided into sub-concepts that is given as a unit. So clarity, conceptual clarity is given. Very important here, we gave the very important for the notion of the chapter. Notion of the chapter means how it is connected with the daily life situation, and what are the uses, and how it is connected to the other branches of physical science, what are the prerequisites already they learn, what they are going to learn after this class. So, like the notion flows, previously we called it as an introduction, it's a new name, but in a wider sense. After that we gave some activities. Through the activity they have to find the outcomes, they have to come to a conclusion. By the developing of the activities, the concept development was taken place. So, the concept is going to develop. In the process, we gave the laboratory activities also. We gave a constructive question, that is called think and discuss. So, they have to discuss in the classroom and they have to identify those answers. After that, we gave the keywords. What are the keywords, what are the scientific words, and improve their learning. So, improve their learning as a concept, a review of it. This is a textbook, and our aim is the science should not be away from the daily life situations and not away from the learning objectives of the student. So, it is concerned to the children. That is the reason CC, we use the word CC for two aspects. One is called child centered education in terms of education. Another one is continuous comprehensive evaluation. So, meaning is different, areas are different, but the abbreviation is same for all these things. So, here in terms of conceptual development, it should be child centered. So, the textbooks is prepared for child centered, and very clearly we gave the information that the textbooks are meant for the children, not for the teacher, and the teacher is a facilitator. So, he has to facilitate the learning environment to the children. He has to collect different reference books. Through the reference books, he has to add some other additional information to get the conceptual clarity on that. That is the main philosophy of the present textbook.
Right, sir. CCE గురించి మీరు టచ్ చేశారు కూడా. CCE గురించి కూడా వివరించండి.
Yeah. So, actually we know that previously the examination system is only on memory based. So, there is a big shift from memory based to analysis of the text. Okay. And this system is there are three words generally. One is called examination, second one is called assessment, third one is called evaluation. In general, everyone use these words frequently in the same manner, but all are not same manner. So, all are different but interrelated. So, examination means you are for a while, if you want to test in a particular area whether the children understand the concept or not, by giving 4 or 5 questions, maybe that questions are different, maybe long answer type or short answer type or multiple choice questions or match the following, whatever it may be the nature of the question, just by giving questions to the children, if they are able to write the answers properly, then it is called an examination. So, examination is a narrow sense, it is a narrow thinking also. Okay. Through examination you can't assess any children. So, I use the word called assessment. So, second one is assessment. So, by using different kinds of tools, what previously we discussed, by using projects, by using written works, by using laboratory activities. So, different kinds of tools we are using the CC, that is called assessment. So, different kinds of tools we assess the children, that is very important. And then come to the next one is evaluation. Evaluation means holistic way, integrated way. So, we will assess the children not only in curricular areas, in co-curricular areas also. So, we introduce the co-curricular areas, that is called physical education, okay, value education, health and physical education actually, and work education, computer education. All these are co-curricular areas. How the children is performing and writing, showing the reflections. So, we are assessing. So, this curricular assessment and co-curricular assessment, finally it comes as an evaluation. So, that is called evaluation. Now, we are into the CCS, that is continuous comprehensive evaluation. In this system, actually we have taken from CBSE, that is from Central Board of School Education, Secondary Education. There they have SA1, SA2, SA3, that is a semester system. Recently there is a myth. So, CBSE is ruled out the total CC, it is wrong. Actually CBSE now following our Telangana educational system, CC system. So, now we are using 2 semesters, of course 2 summative ones, of summative 1 and summative 2. In summative 2 we once again will test the total concept what they learn in a particular academic year. So, this CC main objective is we want to test the children in integrated way, not only in the curricular areas, they have in co-curricular areas also, the first one. And the second one is it should be formal. It should be formal, and the burden on the children also reduced. Examination burden is reduced even for the teacher and for the student also. And the most important is there is a myth. So, there is a written works is improved but after 2-3 years, because it's introduction of the new system, so everyone may feel a difficulty, but after 2-3 years, all the teachers may realize this is one of the best system which are used in the present examination scenarios. And CC is generally when you apply it from 6th onwards, definitely when he comes at, because we are not giving any question from the textbook. We are not giving any term. So we are giving the textbooks based on academic standards. So when you give the questions on academic standards, those are new questions. So there is no scope for rote learning. So definitely the children freely can write the examination. So generally so many people are going to the psychologists and counseling process. So my children feel very stress and strain about this examination. He has the examination phobia. Now even for when I talk with Dr. Pattabhiram also, so previously there are so many cases for counseling for this system. Now the evaluation system is good. So the children can freely write the examination without any kind of stress and strain. That's the main aim for this CC. Yeah.
Right, sir. అలాగే present examination system గురించి కూడా 1 minute 2 minutes లో చెప్పండి.
Yeah. So present examination system is, everyone knows it, for language is one kind of pattern blueprint, and non-language we have another kind of pattern. That's actually we are giving 2 hours 45 minutes time for the 40 marks paper. So we have 2 papers, paper 1, paper 2 in general. Physical science 40 marks and biological science 40 marks. Totally the children will pass, to pass in the examination he has to get 28 marks out of 80. That's the system. So we gave 2 hours 45 minutes. Previously the system is 2 hours 30 minutes duration. The reason is the 15 minutes is meant for reading the total question paper. This is very important. The children has to read the total paper. And the second one is we gave the questions only 4 kinds of questions. One is very short answers questions, second one is short answer questions, third one is long answer type questions, and the fourth one is multiple choice questions. These are the 4 kinds of questions. From question number 1 to question number 7 is 1 mark question, which is a very short answer. The children has to write only 1 or 2 sentences for the question. So no need of, previously they are writing paragraphs, so many paragraphs, bundles of answer sheets. It's very difficult to search the answer from those paragraphs. So now they has to write just 1 or 2 sentences. That's 1 mark. Question number 1 to 7, and question number 8 to 13 are 2 marks questions. So again a little bit of same. They have to write 2 or 3 sentences, maximum 4 sentences. This is called short answer type. And question number 14 to question number 17, long answer type questions. The very important thing is these 14 to 17 there is an internal choice. The previously from 1 to 13 there is no internal choice. The children has to write each and every question answer. From 14 to 17 internal choice means 14A or 14B. So they has to write either 14A or 14B. So one of it. One more important condition is both should be same academic standard. For example, the first question from conceptual understanding, the second question also should be from conceptual understanding. It's the most important. The chapters may be different. Maybe in general they may ask the one question 14A from optics and 14B from organic. Of course another one like what you call it as assets and bases. That's very important. So both will be different. Chapters may be different. Academic standards should be equal. That's a very important condition for this preparation of long answer type question. And there should not be any link questions, sub questions. In 14A, for example, one question for 1 mark, another question for 1.5 mark, one more question for 1.5 mark. That kind of distribution of the marks was not there. They has to, if it's a needy asking any sub questions, that sub question should be belongs to the same concept. It should not be from different concepts. One from magnetism and another from optics is not the correct way. And the last one is we call it as a part B. That is there are 10 questions will be there. It's purely multiple choice questions. So we will call it as an objective type question. There are different kinds of objective questions. Those are match the following, fill in the blanks, true or false. Okay, like so many kinds of. But among all this, it's not, we are not considering those. Only we will consider multiple choice question. One option is correct. So this is the total system. So we have to follow this system. So this is very important. And very important is that time management and mind management is very required, very important for the examination system. So because you didn't see the first question in the question paper, means in the textbook, doesn't know. Second question is doesn't know. Third question is doesn't know. fourth question is doesn't know. So what he feels, so I will fail in the examination. So it is very difficult to move the next page also. That is the main reason. So we have to give psychologically. First, the children has to read from question number 1 to question number 17. 15 minutes are already allotted. Yes. So then he has to choose which question he knows very well. He has to start the question. For example, he knows the 17th question perfectly. He can start 17th question from as a first question. He has to write, then he has to proceed it. That's very important. And 50% of the questions are average questions. Even below average children also can write the answers. 50% questions out of 40, 20 marks they can do, and a little bit of means little bit of difficult, that is a little bit of application there, and 30%, and 80% will be done by average and below average children. Only 20% of questions given for higher order thinking. That's only. So if any children, so that's because we are giving grading on them. And one more important is the grade system. Previously we didn't give any, now we are using grades. That's a very important. So previously we gave the marks to the children. Now we are giving the grades. If any children got marks between 91 to 100, 91, you give it 10 grade points, and 81 to 90, 9 grade points. Right. So maybe generally everyone has a doubt why you are giving a grade points to them. So the reason is, previously if any children got 99, so 99 only, 100, 100 only. So the children will suffer. Always I lose 1 mark. That's the reason I am unable to get 100. So I am not perfection. But if I give it as this range between 91 to 100, so they got 10 points, means they feel happy. Even they lose half mark by the, even the evaluator may do the mistake, or unfortunately the children are able to, but avoiding 10 is not possible for them, but it's a possible for us. So this is a grade point. Okay. And we want to reduce the unhealthy competition between the institutions also. Yes. These corporate college schools and all these things. So this time you got 563, 573, 584 marks in the examination, like so every parent also push the children, dump the books and ask them to by heart, by heart, by heart.
Every
that,
1 mark.
Yeah. That is, that noise will not be comes from the telecasting of this channel. So grade points. That's so grade points is one of the system present examination system.
Right, Sarika. Year plan, uni plan, period plan.
Yeah.
So
this is very important, especially you are going to write for social welfare residential school, tribal welfare, or minority welfare, or BC welfare schools, or all these schools. So not only these schools, if for any government school or private school, whatever it may be, in the school system, writing plans is very, very important. So year plan is very important. That's the reason in the month of March only we are giving the textbooks to the children. Now, of course, teachers also. So what they do, they have to read the total concepts which are given in the textbook. According to that, they have to prepare a year plan. So if for year, how they are going to do this, and it's not a difficult task to anyone. The year plan was clearly given in the textbook only as an index. So everyone knows that year plan means here. So what is the month, in the particular month, which concept they are going to teach, how many periods required for them, what kind of teaching strategies they are going to use for transact that lesson, what are the teaching learning material and teaching resources they are using to transact this class, and what kind of things they are going to evaluate. These are the columns in the year plan. So simply they have to write this tabular form, and they have to, it's very easy for them. And previously they have to write what are the outcomes going to be achieved, learning outcomes. We will call it as a learning outcomes or the academic standards. The last one in that particular year plan, they have to write the teacher reflections, because just now we said a textbook meant for the children, not for teachers. So there may be some conceptual lagging will be there. Abruptly the concept will stop because it's a spiral education. So that chapter may be continued for the next academic year. So but abruptly when you stop it, means the teacher has to enhance that. So he has to refer the textbooks, not only textbook, reference books also. So in the teacher reflections, the teacher has to write all these things. That is called teacher reflections. And every headmaster has to, a principal of the school, they has to observe the particular class, and the headmaster has to write his opinion or suggestions in that. So that's a year plan. So for teacher reflections, they have to leave 6 or 7 pages. Once the teacher prepares the year plan, it is useful for 10 more years also. When the new textbook will comes in the system, then only the year plan may be changed. Otherwise, they can use the same year plan ever. Just they have to modify that. Some enrichment maybe takes place. They have to modify it, but year plan is common for it. So when they coming to the next one is a unit plan or a lesson plan. So generally for non-language we will call it as a unit plan. For language we call it as a lesson plan. Whatever it may be, generally we use the unit is in the non-language. Physical science is nothing but a non-language which comes as a unit. So unit plan only. So there is a small change among these means here. So every unit they have some subtopics, sub-concepts. So same column. So here the month. So what is the concept name? Concept name. What are the sub-concepts? What are the sub-concepts? They has to write. Okay, for each sub-concept, how many periods they are allotted. So they has to write those sub-concepts there, and they have to write the teaching learning material. Here very important is teaching strategies. What kind of teaching strategies they are going to use? That's most important. They has to write it. Whether they are using brain mapping or mind mapping, conceptual mapping, brainstorming, or group activity, individual activity, what kind of strategies, what kind of methods. Just now we discussed whether they are using project method, laboratory method, or analytical method, synthetic method, so lecture demonstration, which method they are using, they have to write it. And they have to, sometimes we are going to conduct Inspire Awards, we are going to celebrate National Science Day, we are going to conduct quizzes, so they are going to write a National Science Olympiad examination. The children are eligible to write NTSC examination and NMMS examination. So they have to write the events also. The particular event, which month, for example, it is a month of February. Generally in the month of February we are going to celebrate the National Science Day on February 28th. So they have to write that event, that is very important. If it is a month of November, so generally the children is able to write for NTSC and NMM. So NTSC meant for the 10th class children and NMMS meant for 8th class children. So they will write in a particular day. Okay, like so in the particular month some events maybe takes place. Okay, even Haritaharam, it's now in the month of July we conducted Haritaharam also. They have to write what is the impact, because pollution is an important fact for. So how the air pollution will be reduced by the planting of these things, how it is reduced, how we make the nature, how nature will impact that, how these national calamities will comes like Hudud Tufan, cyclone. If you want to say all these things, so we have to write all those things in that particular. Last one is evaluation. That is called a unit plan. In the unit plan also they have to write the teacher notes here. The previous year plan they have to write teacher reflections. They has to write here teacher notes. Means some additional information is required. For example, to transact the class, they need some information. They has to write that teacher notes. Finally, headmaster reflections will be also there. Suggestions. Now come to the period plan. So period plan means here this is a very important. So the teacher needed to write the period plan. So when inspection going on, so they has to write the period plan, and we suggested that they have to maintain like one small diary. Of course, previously we are using teacher diary. Now it's not necessary, it's not mandatory. So they has to write in a particular today. So he may be 4 periods for 8th class, 9th class, 10th class. So period. So he has to write which concept he start. So he has to write. That's it. In the period plan, so what they are going to do when they are going to inspect by the authorities. So first they have what strategies they are. They have to greet the children. That's a very important. They have to motivate the children. They have to test the previous knowledge. They have to announce the concept. They have to develop the concept, and they have to interpret it. And by performing the different activities, he has to write what the classroom transaction actually takes place. He has to write in a written form. That is only oral presentation. The oral presentation should be in the form of written presentation, which is called a period plan. That is a period plan. There is a format, already we discussed the period plan. Yes. So it is a very useful for them. So this year plan, lesson plan and period plan is essential. So every teacher has to maintain. So without preparation, it is a very difficult to transact the classroom in effective and enriched manner.
Right, sir. Manaki almost 2-3 minutes time ఉంది sir. Reference books, website, magazines.
Yeah. So actually this is also very important. So just now I said the textbooks are written for only for children, not for the teachers. So they has to refer some books. And very good books for physical sciences, Conceptual Physics by H.C. Verma. We have 2 volumes for it. and fundamental concepts of physics, that's written by Resnick and Halliday. That's 71 projects were already, it's one of the good textbook. So like they have some good reference books also there, and very important things is definitely our site programs and SoFTNET programs, Monative programs are highly useful for them. It's because they are there is so many live classes through subject expert people, so definitely they will give more information than the textbooks. That will also helpful for them. And we have two kinds of organizations called as State Institute of Educational Tools, which is at Ramantpur for our Telangana state, and we have at New Delhi and national level NIET is also there. So NIET also one of the institution which provides these audio visual classes, that's a very important. And SCRT, our Telangana SCRT also will provide different various projects and all these things. Definitely we can visit the website and we can download the different kinds of modules, workbooks and all those things from there. That's a digital library. And recently we developed TROER, we call it as Telangana Repository Open Education Resources. Through TROER we can upload or download various kinds of this. There is e-library is there. Through e-library we can download so many books which are required according to our classroom standards. And NROE are there, and that's also same thing as a National Repository Open Education Resources, which is highly useful for the people to know that. So e-Pathasala is there, e-library is there, and very important for transacting the class effectively, that arvindgupta.twice.com is one of the good website. Maybe all of they are well aware about this website. Through that website they can perform so many activities by using low cost and no cost material. So no need of spending much more money to exhibit those things.
రైట్ సార్, ఫైనల్గా మనం లాస్ట్ ఒక క్వశ్చన్ సార్ మనం అడుగుతున్నా, ఫిజికల్ సైన్స్ డైలీ లైఫ్కు ఎలా అటాచ్ అయింది?
Yeah, so already we said physical science is a part of our life, and without physical science we can't imagine our life also. So everything. So for example, if you want to do any activity for so how much weight, so for example body mass index. So for health consciousness, so my age is this much and my height is this much, how much weight should be otherwise my body will be fatty body. I suffered with the cholesterol, or I'll suffer with the what you call it as fatty acids maybe more in my body, like, so that's a body mass index. Even for playing cricket simply, so if the fielder want to hold the ball, he has to pull his hands towards his body and just pull little bit of downwards, that is because of impulse. So if you want to hold the ball directly, it will give them much more strain on his hand, drop that. But when he pull his hands, means you are giving much more time. So when the time increases, the force will be decreases, so simply they can hold it easily. And the second one, the ball will travel in a parabolic path, so it moves like, so you come down. So you want to hold that, he has to pull his hands little bit of downwards. So it's a physics. So of course the fielder may not know all these things, but the ball will travels in a parabolic path. So generally if you want to know that, just when you see the live telecast of any cricket game, they will show on screens how the ball, where the ball was projected, how the ball moves, whether it touches the leg stump or anything. Yes. So like they will show that. So that's a physics. Okay, so like so when you are seeing when you are traveling in a bus, when you are seeing through the window, we feel that we are at rest, and those things, the shops or trees which are actually stationary, we feel that they are moving, but they are not moving. We are moving, but we feel that it's called relativity. Like each and every movement in our life will concern with the physical science. So physics is directly concerned with the daily life situation.
థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ సార్. ఫిజికల్ సైన్స్ పెడగాజీలో ఓవర్ వ్యూ గురించి చాలా వివరించారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఇది ఈరోజు అంశం. ఒకవేళ ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ మిస్ అయిన వాళ్ళు SoFTNET.com వెబ్సైట్లో ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ చూడవచ్చు. రేపు మరో అంశంతో మళ్ళీ కలుద్దాం. నమస్తే.